Let's do this.
Okay.
All right. So, welcome to episode 17 of our Run Club, the podcast where we talk about all things running. Today, we talk about the long run.
The long run. Yeah.
Yeah. But first, how have you been, man? I haven't seen you in a little bit. We had a couple of delays. I had a generator that needed to get installed on Friday. Delayed our recording, so but here we are. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good weekend?
It was a good weekend, indeed. Yep. You know, fun with the fam, and saw my in-laws. Had some good runs. I had a good run on Sunday, a good run on Monday, and yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Awesome, man. That's
How about
exciting. Yeah, it was a pretty good week. Pretty good weekend. Trying to think about what I did. I ran a little bit. Took a couple of miles in.
Yeah.
Couple miles.
Cool. How'd you feel? Good?
Good. Yeah, I mean, I haven't been doing a ton lately, but I ran with Phil on Sunday.
Ooh, how's Phil doing?
I managed to do 8 miles. Feels good. Yeah. Just working and running. He's
Good old
doing
Phil.
good. Yeah.
Is he doing crazy miles these days?
He's always doing crazy miles.
Yeah, he just loves it so much. He's one of those people. He trains for races sometimes, but really I think if you take the races out of the equation, he still do some miles.
Yeah.
He just loves to get out there and run as much as he can, right?
Yeah, I think for him and for a lot of folks, it's like a mental, just like
Yeah.
a space for you,
Yep.
where you can just like get lost in your thoughts and get prepared for the day or whatever.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
what it is for me, you know.
me
It's
too,
great.
man.
So-
But yeah, ran with Phil, got a couple miles in on Saturday, and then we did 8 on Sunday, which for me is now a long run.
And now a long run, yeah.
That's-
You build back up.
Right.
You're building your base up.
Right, slowly but surely I'll get there, you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, so I guess, you know, that's the thing about long runs is like, for some people it's 3 miles, for some people it's 5, for some people the long run's 8, others it's 10, if you're doing marathons, it's 20, 18.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought like this would be a good topic now because people who are getting into like the marathon spirit for the spring.
Yeah, you got Boston coming up.
Boston Marathon, or if you have another spring marathon that you're training for, you're kind of getting into the meat and potatoes
Yep.
of your training, you know.
Most training plans, you're going to have your long run. And so, yeah, I did there.
Yeah. So
So.
18 to 22.
18 to 22 miles.
Some people.
If you're training for a marathon,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, if you're doing a marathon, that would be kind of your.
If you do it a half, you know, maybe 10 to 12, perhaps,
Yeah.
roughly. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. Are you like one of these people who needs to hit the race distance if you're training for a race? Like if you're training for like a half, do you have to run 13 miles?
Not necessarily, no.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel like I need to. If I'm following a plan, I get up to 12 miles, I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've done enough so half marathons so that I know what it's going to feel like on race day. Some people who are starting out and doing it for the first time, I can see where they'd want to hit that distance just to know that they can actually do it
Right,
and how it's
right.
going to feel, for sure. But yeah, you know, look at any training plan, it's not going to get you there at 13.1 before race day, right?
Right.
So,
It's
are
just-
you?
Yeah, for the half maybe. Like
Yeah.
for the half, I like to do a 13 just to maybe know that I've done the distance and I'm comfortable there. And
Yeah.
usually I'll work it into like a workout or something. Like I'll do a 3-mile warm up and then a 8-mile tempo and then cool down to whatever
Yeah.
adds up to 13. What would that be? 8 plus 3 is 11.
Yes.
Then a 2-mile cool down and I'm there.
Yes.
You know?
The 0.1 walk to your car.
Yeah, I usually include the walk. But like if I'm doing a marathon or something, I'm not running 26 miles.
No, I mean,
It's too far from
it's a
me.
lot of mileage.
Yeah?
You know, it certainly is, but yeah, you know, again, yeah, most training plans will get you 22. And then,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. What's the longest run you've ever had?
the longest run.
Have you run a marathon?
I've run a marathon. I've done a couple marathons. It was a long time ago. I was a young guy, and they were basically disasters. I don't love that distance, but yeah, I would say the marathon is the longest. I haven't gone over that. So yeah.
Yeah. What about like the longest training run you've ever had?
Longest training run was probably about 20-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
So-
how did you approach that long run? Did you have like a plan of attack?
Well, yeah. There are certain things that make it more likely for me to actually do it. You know, get motivated to do it and complete it. I think first of all, for me, following a training plan is important.
Mhm.
Something that gives you a little bit of structure, gives you that schedule to follow, holds you accountable, and is laid out in front of you. Having a particular day that you can do the long run, like I usually set a certain day,
Right.
Sunday, Saturday or Sunday.
Mm.
Most people I know will do their long runs on Sunday, so having a set date to do it, or set day actually, and time too, earlier in the day.
Yeah.
You don't want to, if you've got a daunting 20-mile run, you don't want to put it off until the end of the day and then have to try to squeeze it in, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's true. The do you usually do like a weekend day, probably like a Sunday or something, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah.
A lot of folks do
The
that.
day where you just have a little more time, you know? You can, I've squeezed them in like weekdays, but it's harder to do.
Yeah.
So a day where, you could get out early and have more time to get it done and to recover. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good idea. I think a lot of times what's interesting is like ideally your training plan would be like a 10-day cycle,
Yes.
but like we live in like a 7-day work week, so it's tricky to get that long run to fall on the same day every week if you do the 10-day cycle.
Yeah.
But I think most people who are training and like living a normal life
Right.
will train in that 7 days, be like, Sunday's my long run day, maybe Tuesday's my interval day, Thursday's tempo run day, and then everything else is just filler,
Right.
Do you usually, like I had some tips for like when I looked at like the long run and kind of the topic, there were a few tips that came to mind.
Yeah.
Do you plan your route when you're running? Because that was one of the tips I saw. Was
Yeah.
to like make sure you have a route planned.
Right.
And then that way if there's any maybe bathroom stops along
Exactly.
the way, if
Yep.
there's like a lot of hills, if it's, there's water,
Yeah.
or if you can maybe even get out on the course and put water or Gatorade or whatever you drink.
Yeah.
And then you can know if there's any like construction or whatever.
Yep. I think planning a route is essential for a lot of different reasons. Well, number one, you've got probably family members and friends, and like for instance, my wife, I want her to know exactly where I'm going to be, right? I'm not just going to go off on a long run and just kind of ramble away and trailblaze and, what happens if what if something happens, you know what I mean? What if I fall and hurt myself, if there's an injury, she's not going to know. So, I plan it so that she knows where I'm going to be, so that if there's any problems, she at least has an idea where I am. Water, important, right? You're going on a long run, you're going to definitely want some water, some hydration, right? So you've got to plan that in. Are there parks and drinking fountains and places I can go to get water, or am I going to place water?
Yeah.
If I'm not going to carry it with me, some people carry it with them, so then they're all set.
Yeah.
I don't like to carry water that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I run, if I wear like a belt, not big on that. Holding it, not big on that. So got to plan that in.
Right.
And of course, bathroom breaks.
So key, man.
Yes.
For me especially, I pee like constantly.
Yeah. I mean, are there places that you're going to be able to go?
Right.
McDonald's,
Is there a
parks,
fire stations?
Fire stations. They're always friendly fire stations. Usually will let you in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you're going to plan it where you're going to loop back around to your house.
Yeah.
So you can
do a
get
couple
water
of by your house.
go to the bathroom. It's just big. You got to think about that kind of stuff because you don't want to be out there and not know where you are.
Yeah, I mean, when you're doing long runs and you're out there for like 2, 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, you gotta make sure that you're well planned.
Yep.
The bathroom break is key for me though, man.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I know where every bathroom is within like a 30-mile radius.
Yep. Same here. And then what different times of the year? There's certain like parks that I'll go to where I know there's going to be water and a bathroom, but they're not open. They're only open during the spring and summer and fall, and then in the winter they're closed. So then you got to think about winter where you're going to go and do your long run. So yeah.
Yep. I always feel bad for ladies who run because I just go behind a tree or something.
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit, I don't know, a little easier, I guess.
Yeah,
You know?
it's gonna be tough.
It is. Yep.
It's gonna be
So, planning your route is always a good thing.
so true, man. And then to get into like the bringing water or like having some water and like fuel is like so key for the
Yeah.
long run. Not just drinking water. Sometimes you need to drink stuff that like replaces, sodium and magnesium, potassium, all like the stuff you lose
Yeah.
in your sweat. So being sure to like maybe you drink water like before you run to hydrate. Make sure you're doing that throughout the day, and then like during or after having like some sort of sports drink to enjoy.
Yeah.
I like Noon. That's probably my favorite.
It's my favorite.
Electrolyte replacement drink.
Same here.
I live the Noon life.
I live the new life. I like the flavor. It works for me. It sits well.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem like that after I use it. And so, also I like to use some gels when I go out there.
That's good. That's good.
Some gels to help with some calories, electrolyte replacement, a little caffeine. So I'll 15 minutes or so before I go out, I'll take a gel.
Yep.
And then I'll bring a couple with me, depending on how long I'm going.
Yeah. How long do you wait to take those?
Usually about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, roughly for me.
I think that's a good rule of thumb.
I think so.
Like 15 minutes before you get that like burst of energy, and
Yeah.
then every 45 minutes of your run or activity, whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
That's a good rule of thumb,
Yeah.
I think.
And weather conditions sometimes affect that. I might go to a gel a little bit sooner if it's really hot and I'm sweating it off,
Yeah.
So, but that's a general rule of thumb.
I found too the long run is like a good spot to like test all that stuff for race day, especially if you have like a marathon coming up.
Yep, that's exactly when you want to test it out.
So-
You want to know what's going to sit with you. You don't want to try something on race day or during a race and find out that, oops, this isn't going to work for me,
This belly gets a rumbling and that's,
Belly gets a, yeah, exactly, a little
that's
rumbly and
tough day.
tumbly and it's not good.
That is a tough day at the office, I'll tell you what.
Yep, I know.
I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what. Tough day at the office. Like that. You're out there running your races. Tough day at the office.
But so test out those different like flavors.
Flavors, right?
There's all sorts of you got birthday cake,
Birthday
you
cake,
got chocolate, you got banana.
vanilla.
Banana.
You
I
got
don't think I've ever
banana.
seen-
Straight up banana would be good though.
I actually don't think I've
Strawberry
seen
banana.
banana flavor. I've seen strawberry.
Bump it like just straight up banana. That would be so
That
good.
would be a good one.
Mmm.
But test them out. Make sure they sit well. Make sure you like the flavors. What's your favorite flavor?
I like salted caramel.
Man.
And I like salted caramel and vanilla bean. Those are my two
Yeah,
favorites.
so you like the savory
I do.
treats.
I do.
I always feel like it's like a little bit of a snack. It's like a treat. I
Yeah.
got to mile 8, 9. I can have my little snack.
Right, exactly.
I earned it.
And it's, and there are plenty of different types of gels out there. There are plenty of different types of electrolyte replacement drinks. And, try them out for flavor, try them out to see what works for you. It's kind of an experiment of one when it comes down to it.
Right.
See what's going to sit well with you. Some people don't like the gels. They don't like the texture. I know people who like the kind of the waffles or some kind of
Chews.
chews. I like the chews a lot.
I do enjoy the chews.
The chews are fine if I'm in a situation where I don't really have to worry about pace or anything like that. I'm doing a nice, slow, long run. I take time, I can chew, I can breathe. If I'm in a race, it's hard to do a chew.
Yeah, you need something to knock back quick.
It's not like a knockback. So I got to tell you, the gels that I never, when I was, starting to get into doing like longer races, the gels are hard for me to get used to. I didn't like the texture, and it was hard to put back because it's just messy. So,
Yeah.
but then I found that chews are very difficult to do in a race, so I had to practice. And I practiced on my long runs with the gels, and I got better at putting them down.
You know what helps too if you're someone who has a tough time getting that stuff down is do it with water.
With water, yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you are in a race,
Yes.
maybe you do it when you hit the water stop that's closest.
Plan it around that.
And then it's easier to just squeeze it down your throat and chuck that water back and
Yeah.
boom,
Right.
you're on
So.
running. But yeah, there's different types. Like you'll have some that are like organic, like honey stingers, like an organic, like honey-based one. So for someone who's like a little bit more sensitive to that stuff, you can rock that. You've got like Cliff, I think, is organic too. Some of their stuff.
Right.
So yeah, think about that, and then I definitely encourage folks to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
You need a little bit of a little nutrition when you're out there on those longer runs. So, I wanted to ask you something. You're talking about getting prepared for a run. Do you tend to like to do your long run solo, or do you prefer doing it with a group?
No. So I mean, not solo.
But with somebody.
With somebody.
A partner or a group.
Yeah. Partner,
So
group.
you might want to, as you're preparing, that might be something you need to do and look into. You've got to prepare. You've got to make plans to meet with people.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to make plans, time and place, and so that's an important thing. There are local running groups that will meet on certain times of the week. You know, a lot of times it's weekends, Saturdays and Sundays.
Yep.
People will get together early and go on long runs, like-minded people. Because some of the long runs can be daunting, so you need someone to get you through it,
Yep.
and they could sometimes be a little monotonous. So, and especially if you're trying it out for the first time, it's good to have like-minded people to get you, push you through it.
Yeah.
Someone to talk to.
So, yeah, I mean, I would say put your headphones away, have a little
Yeah.
conversation.
Right.
A little conversation makes the run go by so fast.
Yeah, before you know it, you're halfway through, and then you're 3/4 of the way through, and you're done if you're having some conversation. So,
Right.
yeah, that breaks it up a little bit.
Heck yeah,
It's a
dude.
good thing.
My favorite like long runs I used to do, we used to do these breakfast runs. So like my wife was training for a marathon, and she had a couple friends training for them, and then I don't think I was training for anything, but what they would do is they would start in like a certain spot, probably like about 20 miles away from whichever breakfast place we were gonna like eat at that day.
Yeah.
So they would start there and they would run the 20 miles to the breakfast place. And while they were running, I would drive to the breakfast place, and then I would do an out and back run and get my long run in,
Yeah.
and they would get their long run in, and then we'd eat breakfast.
Sweet.
It was the best.
Just have a little, or a big meal afterward. It's nice. Very cool.
Yeah, man. And we got to go to a bunch of different breakfast places that were really good,
Cool.
like the Beehive Cafe in Bristol.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's
I think
good.
I-
You probably
Might
been
have-
there.
I think
They
I've
give you,
been in
like,
there
little zoo
before.
animals
Yes.
on your plates,
Yeah.
on your table. They wouldn't before they bring like, oh, you get the monkey, so you ordered the 3 eggs or whatever.
Wow.
And
That's a good idea.
Yeah, but it's kind of fun, but it is part of like you gotta plan it out, you know?
You got to plan it out. So there's little things you can need to coordinate.
Right,
So.
right. You have to have a very willing husband to drive.
Yeah. Right.
and run
Yeah.
by himself.
Yeah, I mean, my wife would meet me out. We would do it for long runs. We would, like, if we weren't going to do it together, we would meet each other at certain places to give each other water, gels. So, yeah.
What a sweet.
You got to plan that stuff. She's a sweetie.
What a sweet couple you are.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Oh, shucks.
Oh, shucks. You know what, Ray? I think we should take a break.
Let's take a break.
Yeah.
I got to hit the can, and
Yeah, let's take a break, and then we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more. We'll give some more tips on the long run.
okay, cool.
Cool. We're back,
We're back.
just like that.
Cool.
And we're talking long run.
Long run.
So we talked a little bit about hydration. We talked a little bit about planning our route. Are there any things that you do to make your run go by quicker than, like, say you have to run solo for your long
If
run?
I have to run solo, okay. Well, I don't know if I want to share these things.
What kind of things are you doing?
Yeah. No, there's nothing weird or wild or anything like that. I'm not a music person, so I'm not going to put the headphones in. If I am going to run solo, I won't. But some people do.
I do.
My wife does. She'll put it on. She'll have her long run mix, all the tunes that she likes, and she does that.
Yeah.
I just like to listen to like
The
nature.
birds?
I try to stay away from like major. If I'm doing a long run, I try to stay away from major routes where there's going to be a lot of traffic because I can't I don't need the act from all the noises and
Right.
trucks and things and people yelling, run,
Absurd.
Forrest, run, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I want to try to pick spots where I know it's going to be relatively quiet.
Right.
Bike paths, just quieter roads that are safer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's cool.
But, I just let my mind wander.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you think about anything in particular? Or do you like just whatever comes to mind comes to mind?
Whatever comes to mind comes to mind.
Yeah.
It's sort of like filter through things.
Yeah.
I filter through, yeah.
Do you have like spots where you think about the actual run itself? Like how your form's going, how your breathing's going? do you
Yeah,
feel good?
I luck into stuff like that too,
Yeah.
yeah. And sometimes it just happens randomly. I don't really plan that out. Just like, I'll notice my form. If my form is sloppy, I'll try to see what I can do about tightening up and, fine tuning,
Mm.
adjusting. Sometimes I'll lock in and be like, oh man, the form is really good, and I'll feel great about that. That'll get me pumped up.
Right.
Usually my pace picks up at that point, but I'll start moving a little faster because I just feel like locked in and good.
Feel good, you get that runner's high going?
Get that runner's high. Yeah, when that runner's high hits, yeah.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah.
I listen to music if
You're-
I
yeah.
run by myself. I
Yeah.
listen to music like every time I go for a run.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes I need it. You know what's interesting too is I've listened to these things like they have this thing on the Nike running app called audio guided runs, which are nice. It's like having a coach in your ear.
That's kind of cool.
So I've been doing that. It's kind of nice. It gives you it just cues you into stuff and lets you think about like I was saying, it brings you back to your form.
Yeah.
You'd be like, hey, take a minute, think about your foot hitting the ground, think about your arm swing, all that stuff.
That's cool. It's kind of neat. Is it is it a guy with a really or someone with a really tough voice? Or
Nah,
come on,
really
you gotta
nice.
think about your foot hitting the ground and
No, it's
you're
less-
swinging your arms.
Yeah, it's less like the Rocky guy.
Yeah. Mickey,
It's
that's
less
right, you're a
like-
tomato.
It's less like Mickey, and he's more. He's funny. He's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Cool.
just nice to listen to somebody.
No, that's neat.
It's like running with somebody without having to run with somebody. If you don't have somebody to run with, you can run with this guy.
Yeah.
I was thinking we should do one of those for our podcast.
Yeah.
One day we should just have a run with Ray and Eric, and
Okay.
then we just take you through your run. It's a 30-minute run.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea because I know people who listen to our podcast when they're out there doing their runs.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe-
Short or long, and they like to listen to
Maybe
it.
one day we do something like that.
That'd be cool. It's a great
That would
idea.
be fun. But yeah, so I listen to music too. So sometimes it depends on the type of run I'm doing. If I'm doing something chill and easy, then I'll listen to some chill and easy music.
Right.
Like some Jack Johnson or some
Little Jack Johnson.
surfer music.
Surfer music's cool.
But if I need to get up and going, there'll be some punk rock mixed in. If I want to pick up the pace, if I feel like I want to get going.
Yeah.
Nice. And then I do listen to podcasts too sometimes. I have a couple of podcasts I listen to.
I know people listen to podcasts and then like books on tape kind of thing, where
Yeah.
they can. There's a certain story that they like. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it just kind of gets you to zone out.
Yeah.
Do you run with anything on you? Will you run with a phone or do you run with a watch, that type of stuff?
I have a GPS watch. I don't run with a phone.
No.
And also, in this day and age, people think that's crazy. I just leave the phone at home. I don't want to be connected,
It's a little crazy.
I know, it's something that should happen. If there's an emergency or my wife needs to get a hold of me, I probably should carry my phone, but just nothing to carry.
Yeah,
No,
I hear
man.
you. I hear you. But
Got to wear a
phones-
belt or an
Yeah.
armband,
And
and I
phones
just
these days are huge.
Yeah.
It's like running with a freaking TV in your pocket.
Exactly, and I just want to be disconnected for a little bit. You know what I mean?
But what if something does happen, Ray?
If something happens?
What if you're running in the trails, your leg snaps?
That's another thing too. I know. Well, I wear a road ID with my information on it, but that's not really going to do me any good if I'm lying
Not
there
if
for
the
6
coyote's
hours.
chewing on your leg.
Right, and like a mountain lion is gnawing on my head, So I probably should.
You
do
probably
that.
should, because that's one of my tips, is running with a phone.
I know.
Because you
Yeah, I
gotta
am
be
thinking.
connected, Ray.
I thought,
'Cause
I
you never
definitely
know.
thought about it.
You never
I know. But I just like to be disconnected
I know.
for a little bit. I try not to go too remote, but I have been in situations where I've been out there and it's been kind of remote or farther away, and anything can happen. So you know what? I'm going to take that under advice.
And you're not gonna listen to
I'm not saying I'm going to 100% listen to it, but I'm definitely going to, you know, I'll definitely think about it, and I understand the concern. And it's true. It's a very good concern.
Yes,
So-
it is. Because we love you, Ray, and we don't want you to get eaten by a mountain lion.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks. Can you imagine you get the call from me when I'm being eaten by a mountain lion?
I know. I'm there in a second, you know?
Yeah.
I'm on my way, Ray.
Eric, I'm being eaten by a mountain lion right now.
I'm coming.
Yeah, that's right.
You
Do
should
the rest.
maybe call the authorities first before
Right.
you call me.
Exactly. That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Call the authorities. I have a friend who was out there, and I had mentioned this in an earlier podcast, but this is like the 17th one, so maybe most listeners wouldn't remember it, but I do have a friend who was out there, and she was running the trails. She was just a newer runner, too, and she hurt herself real bad. She messed up her knee real bad. So, yeah, and if she had a phone on her, so she was able to call and help.
Man, if that was
If she
Ray,
did, yeah, if it was me,
if that was you, dead.
I'd be prepared to be spending the night in the forest, which is kind of scary.
It is, man.
There's a lot of bugs.
Rattlesnakes out
And there's
there.
wild snakes and bears and all kinds of mean, nasty things.
Right. So, run with your phone.
Run with the phone. Okay.
You know, there's a lot of
Yes.
reasons for it.
I know.
It's got phones these days have GPS on them too. They got maps, so if you get lost, you can look at your phone and it'll help you get out.
That's
they
right.
got compass on them. A lot of them have compasses.
Compasses. Compi.
Compi.
They have compi. Compi.
They have
Sounds like-
compi.
I don't know,
So
yeah.
you can see.
That is I
where
think
you're
compasses is probably the plural of compass, but
going. I think so.
it's crazy. What are we babbling about? Oh my God. No, but seriously, that would be a good thing to have. That's a good tool to have.
It is, man. And then you can like call people to let them know like you went out for a run.
Yeah.
And then you can call them to let them know that you made it home in one piece. Especially for these long runs when you're out there for 4 or 5 miles, 4 or 5 hours at a time. People might get concerned, you know, if they don't hear from you in a little bit. So you just call them, let them know you're back,
Yeah.
send them a text.
You're okay, right? I think it's always important. I think it's always good. Like I said, it's always good getting back. To always let someone know where you're going, exactly where you're going to be. I mean, you know, you live in the suburbs. Maybe it's not that important, but some folks, you know, live in a remote area. You're out west, southwest, northeast. You're way out there. Yeah, I mean, you could
Yeah,
be if you're in an area where it's like very remote and you might not come across a lot of people, and it's tough terrain. You know, it's hikers do that too.
It's true.
You get hikers out in Colorado hiking up 14,000 foot peaks, and they're always telling people where they're going. So.
Yeah.
And they probably always these days carry like some kind of device, like a
Satellite phone or
satellite
something.
phone. Yeah. So
Do you know what's cool
Good advice.
nowadays is they have watches that have like phones built into them. Like my watch.
Yeah.
You can make a phone call right on the watch. You don't even need your phone with you.
right. So that's a lot easier than carrying your phone. So it's something like that.
Yeah. Maybe we should get you one of these so we can know that you're safe.
Okay. I'll think about it. Definitely.
Good.
I'll take it under consideration.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'll definitely not do that.
Good idea. It's a really good idea.
It is, man. It is. And that's another thing too, like when you, like if you do plan on running like a route like that, running with somebody too is a good.
Yes. So that if something happens, you've got a buddy.
You've got a
It's
buddy.
system.
Right.
Or buddies. You
So
know what I mean?
So
Yeah.
you both get eaten by a mountain lion,
Right.
not just one of you.
Not exactly. So, you know, misery loves company, I guess, in a situation like that.
Yeah. Very true. But no, it's good to run with other people, especially if you're running in the woods and you, yeah. Because like if someone gets hurt, you get another person to let people know.
Right.
Right.
That's good. It's obviously that's a good safety tip.
Another thing too with running with people is like running with other people holds you accountable. So if you have a long run and you know you got to meet somebody, then you're more likely to do it.
Yeah. You're more likely to do it and finish it.
Right. Right. So yeah. Sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place here.
No, it's okay to bounce all over the place.
Yeah.
It's good.
That's good. But also another tip that I had for folks is to listen to your body.
Okay.
Because for some people, like the longer runs, maybe it's like your first time doing a longer run, or like you're kind of building up. But it's important to kind of know yourself and know when you've kind of hit your limit and shut it down before you do some serious damage, you know?
And it's very good advice. And that also comes with experience to know your body, but just understand that it's on your longer runs. They're not necessarily going to be. It's not going to necessarily be a fast run.
Right.
Most of your long runs, most training plans can do like long, slow distance. You know where you
Take a little LSD.
yeah, exactly. Take. You know, you don't listen to your body. Don't go too hard.
Right. And if something's like nagging at you, if like the knees bothering you, or like your pinky toes on fire,
Yep.
then you want to back off, chill out.
You gotta chill out.
There's
You gotta
another
back
day
off.
to do your long run.
I know.
Because if you push it, if you keep grinding and that knees gets worse and worse and worse, then you're not going to make it to your starting line.
You don't want to do that. You can salvage that long run.
You can't.
And I've known plenty of people to do that. I mean, when you're training for like a really long run, there are times where you may have to do that. It's kind of good to factor that in, that you might have little aches and pains here and there, that you're going to hold you back. You might get the flu. You might get a really bad head cold. So factor it in.
Yep.
And don't overdo it. You know, don't go on a long run if you feel like you're getting sick.
Right.
Or if you're in the middle of a long run and you feel like you're, pinky toes on fire, you may need to cut it
Back
short.
it off.
Back it off a little bit.
Slow down.
Yes, it's important.
Pinky toes important.
So, listen to your body.
Yeah. That's the thing. And also, like, while you're on that long run, if you start to get like dehydrated, or if you start to feel low, like your blood sugar's getting low, then maybe it's time to take that goo.
Yeah.
Usually, if you're feeling thirsty, it's like too late.
Mhm.
So you want to make sure that you hydrate throughout, no matter what, whether you feel thirsty or not. Grab yourself a liter of Dasani water
And drink it down.
Drink it down, baby.
Yes.
Drink it down. It's important. And listening to your body, like if you start to feel like lightheaded, start to feel a little woozy, then just call it a day, man.
Shut it down.
Shut it down. Nobody's, you're not, unless you're going to the Olympics. Even if you are going to the Olympics, you should probably shut it down. You don't want to hurt yourself.
You don't
got to
wanna hurt
make it to
yourself.
your starting line.
You do have to make it to your starting line. You do not want to hurt yourself. And, you want to pay attention to things like lightheadedness, aches and pains.
Right.
So, yeah.
Wooziness.
Wooziness. Yeah.
If you don't get to your starting line, then you're not going to get to the finish line.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's true. The thing to think about too is getting a little phone call.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Scam. Scam likely.
Yuck. But yeah, listening to your body's huge, and then making sure that you get to the starting line. If you get hurt when you're on the long run, then you gotta shut it down, man. You gotta shut it down. That's another reason why running with people is huge, because you can talk to each other and you can kind of feel each other out. And like if one of you is feeling bad, then you can have that conversation like, okay, let's slow down, let's chill out, and relax.
Yeah. And people will recognize that, whether they think that you should chill, whether you should stop. So, so you're communicating that kind of stuff as you're, with other people, moving along. So, yeah. What do you do on long runs for like little tiny discomfort? Things like chafing. Do you do anything about that? Are you more than likely to do something about potential chafing when you're out there? I'm changing the subject here totally.
No,
but
that's good.
It just popped into my head.
Yeah.
These things usually do that. These ideas just pop into
They
my
just
head.
pop in your
Who
head.
knows where they come from? but they-
Chafing is, that's something that happens to a lot of people.
Because I find on a longer run, it's more likely to happen.
Yeah, it happens to me sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not as proactive as I should be about it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I'll just kind of suffer
Yeah.
through it.
There's nothing you can do when you're in the middle of a long run, there's nothing you can do.
You're in it, you're in it.
Yeah,
I think the
exactly.
issue is like when you sweat, you get all the salt on you,
Yeah.
and it adds like some extra friction.
Yeah.
Usually I'll get it like under my arms.
Yeah.
Or like where the shorts are, like the liner.
Yep,
That'll
more with the
happen.
short liner there, so sometimes people get it on their nipples, you
No,
know.
I've seen that.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you're proactive about it, you can avoid it. Put some Body Glide or Vaseline or something on
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
Some Band-Aids on the nips.
yep. I'll usually
That
do
helps.
like the body glide that usually works. If I know I'm going on a long run, that helps me. Something to think about. Food for thought, because if you're doing this, but if you're getting into the longer runs for the first time, you want to think about that kind of stuff.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other little tips, tricks you got for folks?
Just that, and even like your feet too. If you think you might be vulnerable to some blistering on your feet, make sure you've got your good socks. We talked about that, right?
Yeah.
Your moisture wicking socks, but maybe even a little Vaseline or Body Glide on your feet in different areas to just provide a little more, lubrication. That would help. Sun protection. Very
That's
important.
true, yeah.
I think it's important at any time when you go out. When you go outside, just in general. But if you're going to go out there and run, and in particular longer distances, you want to make sure you take care of that.
Yeah,
That's
you got
something
to.
damaging.
You really do.
Yeah.
Because I always run with a hat.
Yeah,
That's helpful.
Yep.
Or like if you have some sunscreen,
yeah.
SPF.
Yep, and something that's going to be, intended for people who are going to be exerting, a little more
Maybe
energy.
some waterproof.
Waterproof,
Because like you'll be sweating.
sport type.
Yeah. Yep.
I read something where that marathon runners have a higher rate of skin cancer than other runners, people who do
Wow.
shorter distances.
I guess
Because
that
they're out there
makes
for long
sense,
periods of
yeah.
time, right? On long runs, and
Right.
they're exposed to the
You gotta
sun.
protect yourself.
You gotta protect yourself.
Yeah.
So that's something that's important. Just a little important tip, I guess. So
Yeah, that's a big important difference.
it's a big important tip, right?
Some of the clothes now too have like what the heck? SPF, UV protection.
UV protection,
Yeah.
UVB protection,
UVB or UVA
Yeah.
protection.
UVB or UVA protection, and
Yeah, you can get your clothes have it built in.
that's kind of cool.
And then you put some suntan lotion on, and or sunscreen or whatever, and then you got like double up.
Yeah. You want to take care of that stuff. That's good.
It's true, man.
Yeah.
Any other tips? I'm sure there's thousands of them.
There are just so many tips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe tuck a little cash into your
Yeah, or
Right.
like a little credit card or something.
yeah, something like that. ID and
Oh
cash.
yeah, the road ID.
Road ID.
You don't have one of these.
Cash, something to, if you have to, if you have to go and get a Big Mac at a McDonald's, just crazy one in mid-run, you have a
You
little
can.
cash to go
Yeah.
get one.
There you go. There you go.
2 plugs for McDonald's in this podcast. Wasn't intentional. I don't go to McDonald's at all, but
Nah.
they're paying me to say that.
Oh,
I
it's
want
a
you to know that.
sponsor.
Yeah.
Sponsored.
I got a major sponsorship with McDonald's. It's not true, folks. It's being silly.
He's being silly.
That and I know some people who for those emergency dashes out into the woods, they might bring a little bit of TP with them.
Ooh,
I'm not saying toothpaste. I'm saying toilet paper. That kind of TP.
Gotcha.
I don't do
Want to
that.
have minty fresh breath?
My coach in high school was like, "Oh, guys, if you guys are going on a long run, bring a little toilet paper because you never know." I was like, man, I'm not gonna ball up any toilet paper and
Carry toilet paper with
I'm
you?
not gonna carry it, but some people might want to do
Some
that.
people do. Some people do. Make sure you get a waterproof pocket though. You don't want soggy toilet.
You want a waterproof pocket to do that for sure, yeah, because it gets kind of get soggy. And then what to do? Oof. Man,
Get a leaf. And
Yep.
then you run back with one sock on.
exactly.
I think that's a good place to end.
Yes, the
What do
one
you-
sock. Hey, just finished a long run, and I noticed you only have one sock on. So, it's crazy. All right, so I think we probably should.
Yeah, we should
Duty
probably
calls.
call it.
Duty calls. Ah.
Ray, you.
We're like
killing
regular
me.
comedians. It should just be a comedy podcast from now on, because we're rolling it.
We're rolling tonight. All right.
Well, thank you, dear listeners.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Do you know what we want to talk about next week, or are we gonna have to figure it out?
We'll figure it
We'll
out.
figure it out. All right.
We'll keep you like a cliffhanger, folks. Just I'm not gonna let you know. Surprise you.
It'll be a surprise.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and then tune in next week's episode 18.
18.
Wow.
1-8.
Old enough to vote next week.
Mm-hmm.